Good evening and welcome to WCBN Sports, coming to you live from Savage Arena in Toledo, Ohio, where we bring to you Michigan versus Toledo in the women's basketball face-off. My name is Noelle Bencie on the call today, joined alongside Peter Nasr in the first half of today's game, and then Daniel Olson in the second half. Peter, we've seen a solid effort from the team in the last 3 games of their schedule, taking the win against Harvard, SIUE, and Eastern. What can you tell us about this team and what you're expecting to see today?
Yeah, the Wolverines have definitely played well these past couple games, and this is a really good test for the Wolverines. Their second true road game of the year. They took care of Harvard on Sunday, but this atmosphere here in Toledo, WCBN's first time ever broadcasting a game from Toledo, very exciting. White out here at Savage Arena. This should be a really exciting game. And Toledo, this is a good test for the Wolverines. They come in, they won the MAC regular season and tournament championship last year. They returned all 5 of their starters. And the people to watch out for, Kenesha Lockett, she's their lead, she's their scorer, 18 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists per game. And Sophia Weard, that guard positioning is really a good test for Layla Felia and for Lauren Hansen. This should be a really exciting game. Really looking forward to it. And as you can hear, this atmosphere, it's electric in here.
It's going to be a true test to Michigan today because Toledo comes in with all of the momentum. They won last season in the 2022-23 season. Toledo won 71-68 in their first ever ranked road win. So Toledo comes in, they won last year against Michigan, so we're going to see the way that they really pull together and play against this team, which Michigan has had a lot of effort come in this last few games, so it's exciting to see what they have planned today.
And Toledo, they've been off for a week and a half. They played in San Diego for a couple of games. They got 2 big wins out there and returning in front of their home fans. And you're right, they had a big win on the road in Ann Arbor last year against the 14th ranked Wolverines. And for Toledo to come in here, feed off of this crowd, this could be another defining win for the program that has had high expectations. They made the tournament last year, got a win in the NCAA tournament last year, and for them to just continue building off of that, this is a really good starting point before we get to the end of December and into MAC play.
So we saw Layla Felia in the last couple of games. She's really taken a strong lead for this team, one that I think the Michigan Wolverines needed after they lost Layla Brown last year. So she comes in with scoring in double figures 7 times this season. Who do you think is going to be her wingman and helping her to make sure that this team gets to where they need to go today?
I think that Felia Lauren Hansen combo in the guard position for Michigan is going to be big. Lauren Hansen averaging just under 10 points a game with 3 assists, 2 rebounds. And I look to them to really lead the way for Michigan. I'm really excited for that guard matchup. Elise Stuck starting over Taylor Williams today. That'll be an exciting thing to see inside. Overall, just like we said before, this is going to be a really good test, and we're ready to get rolling here. Beautiful venue. They got a really nice facility here, and they packed this place with white T-shirts. It's going to be a fun one, Noelle.
You know, Michigan and Ohio, even though we are right on the border of the 2 states right here in Toledo, you can see the rivalry regardless of these students going to Ohio State. I think Michigan and Ohio have that strong rivalry, just the geography of the 2. So coming here, seeing these gorgeous facilities with all these people, the electricity in the stadium, the energy that these fans are bringing, I think adds to the environment, not only for the players, but also for us. I'm having such a great time. The game hasn't even started yet.
Yeah, it's a really cool introduction here, and we're just about ready to get rolling. And yeah, it's always good when you get a good true road game test out of the way early before Michigan has to go to the likes of Iowa, where they sell out the barn every night with the way they've been playing recently with Caitlin Clark and company. So this is a good early true road test with a really good environment, and let's get ready to roll.
Yeah, you're right there, Peter. This first game right before the start of their conference matchup. So right now we got the tip-off ready to start. We got Cameron Williams facing off against Jessica Cook at the center, waiting for us to start with tip-off. Ladies set up. Tipped back to number 1 on Michigan, Lauren Hansen, as she's at the top of the key, looking for movement, swinging to number 10, Jordan Hobbs. Finding some movement, doesn't find anything, hesitating at the top of the key. Passes it over to number 5, Layla Filia. Doing a little swing back and forth movement, looking for some action at the top of the key. Nothing happens. Shot goes up by Lauren Hansen, doesn't fall. Rebound recovered by Sophia Weird on Toledo. She takes a shot from the top of the key, doesn't fall. Rebound recovered again by Stuck. Number 1, Lauren Hansen sets up a play, pulling a pick and roll play by Williams. Doesn't seem to work, so they pass it back to the top of the key, over to number 5, Filia. Passes it down low to Jordan Hobbs. Looks for movement, passes over to Cameron Williams, where she makes the shot under the basket, and it falls.
Great pass off the double team. She knows the double team, recognized the open player, found the pass in the box, and easy first 2 points of the ball game. Yeah,
it was a wonderful matchup there. Michigan kind of struggled a little bit at the top, but now we see number 5, Lockett on Toledo, shooting that shot from the 3, hitting the bank and sinking it right at the top.
Shooters are going to get the bank, and she gets it there.
It was a beautiful, beautiful work by Toledo's offense. They really swung the ball around, so we're going to see how Michigan handles it now as Layla Filia has it at the top corner. Slowing it down, looking for movement. Number 10, Jordan Hobbs, dribbles to the top of the key, penetrates, doesn't seem to find anything, passes it down low to Cameron Williams. She struggles, and it calls a jump ball. She had a lot of pressure there from Jessica Cook. You know, she got her hands easily right on the ball, so not really turning the ball over back to Toledo. We see Toledo back at the top of their offense. Passing it to number 34, Jessica Cook, Passing it down low to the corner. Jessica Cook cuts in, tries to make the shot under the basket, doesn't seem to fall. So Michigan picked up the rebound, sends it back out to number 10, Jordan Hobbs. She tries to go up, she's fouled. So great effort there by Hobbs. She really used her body to try to get in there, really forcing the foul. So now we'll see her shoot 2 shots.
We've seen good effort on both sides. Jessica Cook inside with a good shot fake, just couldn't get the layup to fall. And Michigan offensively, they haven't been able to get much. That was a good drive by Jordan Hobbs, to get inside, draw some contact. But Toledo's been doing really good holding Michigan to the perimeter. And now Michigan gets a chance at 2 at the line.
The shot doesn't fall. Free throw. First one does not fall. So now we see second one coming right in. Jordan Hobbs has played a really, really strong duo with Filia. So we're going to see how she continues to use her body in the paint to force those points on the free throw line. Toledo has it at the top of the key. Number 1, Garcia takes the shot. Doesn't seem to fall. Number 1, Hansen on Michigan, takes it up the court, passes it to Layla Filia. She goes in for the shot. She can't make it in. The rebound was recovered by Cameron Williams, and the ball goes out of bounds.
Michigan hasn't had much going offensively. A couple drive opportunities for the most part. Credit to Toledo. They're making Michigan work early, and only 1 basket so far on the afternoon.
Yeah, we see the ball being swung up top for Toledo. Number 1, Garcia, looking for some movement. Doesn't seem they're really swinging it around the top of the key, keeping it active, keeping it in motion. We see number 33 cutting, taking it to the basket. She goes up for the shot. It falls, and that is putting Toledo in the lead.
Yeah, really good drive there.
It was a beautiful play motion by Toledo, putting them at 5-3. Michigan comes right back down on the court, trying to answer the play that just happened. We have Hobbs at the top, passing it over to Layla Filia, who's looking for movement. Passes it down low to number 44. She goes up for the hook shot, doesn't fall.
Good look from Cameron Williams, just couldn't get the hook to fall.
Now they seem to be missing all their layups, so we're going to have to see what they do. Shot went up by Garcia, didn't fall. Rebound recovered by number 30, Stuck on Michigan's offense. Hansen takes it up top, Passes it over to Hobbs for the shot. Just hit the rim, recovered with the rebound, Garcia. Not a lot of pressure for Michigan's offense, or Michigan's defense, so I think they're just letting the game run right now, trying to get that momentum going back in the game before they start pressing. Trap at the top of in the Rocky right in the center, driven in by number 33. And it seems like there was a foul on the play.
I believe they called a travel there. But that was a good trap by Michigan. First time really seeing that. Forcing Toledo a little off kilter there, and Mikanovich had a good opportunity to drive inside, just travel. That she got a little indecisive due to the good defense.
I think one thing that we see from Toledo that we aren't seeing from Michigan is the really quick plays, that which actually caused that travel. She was a little bit too quick with her feet, causing the turnover. So now we see Hansen at the top of the key, looking for her teammates. Pass up to number 5, Littlefeely, over to Jordan Hobbs. Has to lob it over to the top. Hobbs looked for some movement, but then there seemed to be a
legal screen call.
Yeah, a screen call there where it didn't really.
Looks like Hobbs got there, moved a little too much. Ref wasn't going to let that slide. And Michigan already with, I believe that's the first foul for them here in this ball game.
All right, ball is inbounded. We see number 2, Wired, coming up the court. Looking for movement. We got big man pass over to the side of the court. She's trying to dribble in, trying to penetrate. She's doing she seemed to have done she came across from the other side of the court, posted up, and got the foul underneath the basket, which was actually a great effort from Lockett. I think, like we mentioned before at the start of this game, that she was going to be a strong component for Toledo's offense. We've already seen her. She's coming already with 3 points.
And that was a great drive there, getting the foul and the basket to count. Michigan's got to settle. You can't let this crowd get into this game too much. It's definitely could become a factor if the game doesn't go the right way at the free throw. It's no good.
Yeah, Toledo has all the momentum today with that missed free throw shot from Wired. We have number 11.
Cam Schroeder in, yep.
Yeah, she just came in. Littlefeely trying to penetrate in the basket. She's seemed to be blocked by number 51, Novers.
Yeah, that's a really good block on the drive as we go to the under 5-minute immediate timeout in the first half. Michigan just can't get really anything to go offensively. They had that one opportunity where they took advantage of a double team, found an open player down low for an easy basket. But this is the time where Michigan needs a little bit of a spark, and we see Greta Camtrade just coming in. She provided that spark against Harvard on Sunday, hit 2 big threes to start the third quarter when Michigan was really just hanging around with Harvard. Harvard was up at halftime, and that's Michigan. The 2 Camtrader threes really gave Michigan the opportunity to blow that game open. So we'll see if she, coming off the bench here after this immediate timeout, if she can get Michigan going, because their offense has been really stagnant, not really much going for them. Credit to Toledo defensively.
Yeah, we saw, I've mentioned several times already in the call, Nan Garcia. She's been really a key component for both their offense and their defense here at Toledo. The 6-foot senior from Jefferson, Indiana. She scored 14 and 7 assists in the win against Michigan last year. So she's coming in. She knows exactly how this team plays, regardless of the transfer portal, regardless of the new people that are here. She understands the way that this offense works, so she's going to use her body and her size and her power in order to force a play or force that foul to happen. Like that, Toledo can get their ball back.
Yeah, we mentioned it with this Toledo squad. A lot of success last year, returning a lot of their players. They have a lot of experience, and they beat Michigan last year on the road. They have that confidence. They know that they can come in. Now they have the home crowd on their side. They can come in, they play their game. This would be a huge win for their program. Again, building before they try and defend their MAC championship. And on the flip side with Michigan, just got to settle it down. The first really good road environment of the year that they're going up against. So, which is good for them, especially early December. Hard to believe it is already December, but it's December 6th already. The season's going by quickly, and before you know it, Big Ten play starts. Michigan heads to Champaign later in the week for the one Big Ten game before finishing off the non-conference slate. But this season goes by fast, and this is a big-time opportunity for the Wolverines to get a big road win before heading back to finishing off this road trip and then closing out the season, closing out the calendar year at home.
No, I totally agree with you, Peter. I think this is the game to win for the end of really non-conference competition. You know, they like you said, they play Illinois next week. So winning this game kind of sets them up for what to expect against the Big Ten Conference next week.
It's going to be a good, real good tone setter if you can come in here on this road environment and get a win, but Michigan's got to definitely improve offensively, use some screens, see if they can get some open looks and get some shots to fall. They have not been able to early. They're only
now, like you mentioned,
1 for 6 for the field.
It won't be easy for this team considering the momentum that Toledo has today, and we've only seen it in the first 5 minutes of the game. All right, we see number 11, Kemp Schroeder under the basket. Inbounded in, didn't make the shot. Number 5, Lockett on Toledo. Looking for movement. She passes it to number 2, Wired at the top. Right about half court, bounce passes it to number 30, Renat. She tries to pass it in to number 51, Novorosh. She couldn't seem to get her hands on it or get that control that she needed.
Good job getting the hands in there, or they called a foul, I believe. I did not see who it was on, but Toledo will get the ball underneath. They called down Chyra Evans. That's her first of the game. And Cameron Williams will come back in for Michigan.
We'll see Cameron Williams play a large part in this defense, considering her size coming against Novorosh. Pass it over to Novorosh, pass back into Wired. She tries to drive it. She's stopped by Cameron Williams. Over to number 33. Had a lot of pressure from Williams as well. Number 2, Wired's calling her teammates over to the top of the key. Lockett drives in. Trapped at the top. Shot goes up, and it falls by number 2 on Toledo, Wired.
Great drive by Lockett to get the defense to go towards her, and then finding the open Wired at the top of the key for a big 3, 10-3 early.
We have Kemp Schroeder at the top. Passes it over to Brett, who just came in. Back over to Kemp Schroeder. She tries to drive in. Number 51 on Toledo, Novorosh, uses her body to cause the turnover, pushing over Nova Schroeder and getting the ball back in possession for Toledo.
That's great defense by Novoroski, the center from Michigan City, Indiana. Played 2 years at Indiana University. So Michigan has seen her in the past. That was a really good defensive play, getting her foot on the baseline, forcing Kemp Schroeder to stop and cause the turnover.
Toledo back on the top of the key, swinging it over. Number 33 tried to drive it in. Shot goes up. Toledo now leads 13-3. Michigan tries to answer that call. Number 33, Taylor Williams now in. Tried it, went in. Drove to the basket, made the basket, and now I believe they're shooting.
Yeah, I think they're going to count in the foul. That's big for Michigan to get Taylor Williams. Really good drive with her left hand, going through the contact and finishing at the rim. Settling down this crowd as Toledo went on a big run. They've hit their last 3 shots, including 2 from the long line. They're 3 for 6 from 3, and that was the recipe for success last year against Michigan. Toledo shot 50+% from beyond for 3, and they're going to need that kind of performance again here today if they want to win. A good start for them. 5 for 9 from the field and 3 of 6 from beyond the 3-point line.
Taylor Williams does not seem to get that extra point from the free throw line. It's recovered by Toledo. Setting up, swinging the ball around the top. And number 22, looking to shoot, doesn't seem to have it. Passes back over to Lockett as she drives in, passes it back out to number 2, Wired. And there's a foul called on number 1, Lauren Hansen.
Yeah, Lockett really good at, once again, driving, getting her feet in the paint. When you can get into the paint, causes the defense to collapse. against the kick-out opportunities, and there was able to get Lauren Hansen out of position, and she was forced to get a call for a foul.
Michigan has done a wonderful job defending their basket, considering the size of the women that Toledo have on their team. Ball is inbounded, as we see by Renat. Back to number 5. Number 30 goes inside, tipped by number 44 on Michigan, Cameron Williams. And there's a foul.
They're going to call,
I believe, on Novorowski.
They're going to call Novorowski on the foul. That's really good defense by Cameron Williams, not letting the ball get into the paint for Novorowski, who's a 6'5". She takes up a lot of size in that paint. If she can get inside, almost automatic. So really good job by Michigan preventing that inside look and drawing the foul as well, getting her on the bench.
Yeah, we see half-court pressure by Toledo's defense as Cameron Williams has it at the top, looking for her teammates, doesn't see it. Hands it off to number 10, Hobbs. Passes it over to Barrett. Back to Cameron Williams to the top, number 33. Williams takes it back in. Shot goes up. Recovered by 44, Cameron Williams. And it seems as if it was a jump ball by Taylor Williams.
Yeah, the arrow's going to give Michigan keep possession, but a good look for Taylor Williams again. She just couldn't get it to fall. Michigan's going to need these baskets to fall. They're only 2 for 9 from the field here early.
Yeah, they've had a lot of difficulty trying to get that penetration into the basket, into the lane. Hobbs had it at the top of the basket, tipped out of her hand by number 22, Goss. She takes it cross court, tries to go for the shot, and the call is fouled. Turnover by Hobbs there, which was actually not what Michigan needed at the top. It was stolen by number 22, Goss. And now she's trying to go up now for 2 points as Hobbs tried to recover her ball and unfortunately caused a foul.
Good job getting her hand in there, Goss, and using a fast break and getting to the line, and she hits the first free throw.
Nice made free throw there by number 22, Goss, on Toledo. Second attempt, shot goes in. Toledo now leads 15-5 against our Wolverines. Ophelia takes it at the top of the key, brings it down the court, passes it back up to Williams. Taylor Williams, excuse me. Ophelia cuts around, back to the top of the key, finds that penetration, goes in, shot goes up, as a layup. She makes it in, going around Novorowski. Toledo comes back quickly, passing the ball around quickly at the top of the key. Pass to number 5, Lockett. Bounce passes it to Cook. She goes up. Shot does not fall. Michigan quickly comes back to answer. Pass over to number 44, Cameron Williams. She goes up with the post move and makes that shot.
2 good possessions in a row for Michigan, getting inside and getting good layups and getting them to fall. Michigan brings it within 6.
We see a drive to the basket by Toledo. Stopped by number 33 on Michigan, Williams. Turned actually into a turnover, causing a travel for Toledo. Another turnover by Toledo, which this deficit is closing now, Peter. And we see Michigan gaining a little bit more momentum. The crowd kind of getting a little more tense, even though it's only 1 minute and 16 seconds left in this quarter. So we're going to see the way that Michigan comes back, and I have no doubt that they're going to come back and answer every single possession that Toledo scores on. We see number 33, Taylor Williams at the top of the key, passes back to Layla Felia. She takes the drive for the jump shot. Michigan has had a very, very hard time having their shots fall with that last one. See number 5, Lockett. Pass to the top of the key, looking for some movement, doesn't find anything. Passes it back up to Miss Rosie. Shot goes up, doesn't fall by Toledo. Recovered again by Taylor Williams. Takes it quickly down the court. Shot goes up by Brett, and it falls for our Michigan Wolverines, closing that deficit once again with 28 seconds left in this quarter.
Big time 3 there, and Toledo will probably hold for the last shot here to close the quarter out.
Exciting action here by Toledo coming in for the layup. Doesn't seem to fall. Recovered by Garcia. Fighting for it. Missed attempt. Rebound by number 10, Hobbs, ending the quarter with Michigan and Toledo leading 15-12. Wow, Peter, what an exciting quarter. We had Michigan coming in not more than 5 minutes ago having a 9-point lead. Or excuse me, having Toledo having a 9-point lead against our Wolverines. And as we were saying, Michigan was having a little bit of difficulty penetrating into the lane, trying to find movement with their ball. But Toledo came out strong, came out very aggressive in the paint, not letting Taylor Williams or Cameron Williams, for that matter, do what they're known for. So what do you think is going on? How do you think Michigan did in this first half closing that deficit?
Yeah, good, exactly. Michigan started out, they definitely took a second to get adjusted, but really good end to that quarter. And it was getting good looks inside and actually finishing those looks. Because early on, Michigan had a couple layup attempts that just weren't able to fall. But when you get Taylor Williams getting a layup, Layla Felia finally getting on the board late in the first quarter, that's what you need to get. That's what you need in this kind of environment. And then for Elise Stuck to hit a big, or at least Alyssa Brett, to hit a big three, taking advantage of the open look she had at the top for three to cut the lead to 3. That was big, and Michigan just needs to keep that momentum that they took at the end of the quarter and build on that and continue to improve. Don't let this crowd get back into the game like they were early on, because this crowd definitely was in it early, and they're still here. Got some little light shows, the mascots, the really, really fun environment here at John Savage Arena here in Toledo, Ohio.
I totally agree. If you see the time between the last time Michigan played versus Toledo had their last game on November 25th against North Dakota State, whereas Michigan played recently last weekend on December 2nd against Harvard, like we mentioned before, winning on the road. However, that's a lot of time for Toledo to work on their plays, to get rest that Michigan hasn't really had, especially when you're coming to an environment that is packed here at Savage Stadium, packed with all their fans and all the support from the small little university here in Toledo. So I think Michigan has kind of knocked the rust off that they had originally coming into the stadium. But I think this is a great precursor to next week when they play Illinois, really getting their feet wet back into the game, really continuing this 3-game stretch where they have a very, very strong chance of taking this win today and bringing that momentum into Illinois next week.
They definitely put themselves in position. Obviously, it's early. There's still a lot of basketball left to be played. Still 30 minutes of action to go. But the way that Michigan ended after Toledo with a really great start. You mentioned Toledo's been off for a week and a half. They were last in San Diego for a couple games out there. And for them to be able to come out really strong with the Rockets, both on the defensive end and then capitalizing offensively. Credit to them. Can they continue to keep that momentum, keep the energy that they got from the start of the game the rest of the way? That's going to be critical for the Rockets if they want to get another big-time upset here on this fine Wednesday afternoon in Toledo, Ohio.
Michigan isn't ranked this year, unfortunately, but last year when Toledo won in Ann Arbor, Michigan was ranked, I believe, number 17.
They were in the 15 range.
Right.
And that was Toledo's first ever win on a true road game against a ranked opponent. So that a historic win for Toledo last year, and trying to build off that and sweep this little home-and-home series that the Wolverines and Rockets have had together.
We see again ball coming in as the start of the second quarter. Number 5 Lockett takes it at the top of the key, passes it around, swinging it. Nice quick pass to the corner to Garcia. Trying to find penetration in there, doesn't find it. Looking for movement. We see Lockett trying to find space for her teammate. She drives into the basket, blocked by her body by Cameron Williams. Shot goes up by Wired, and it falls.
Great pump fake by Wired, getting the defender to jump, and then that was a good shot for her, and she hits it. She's got 5, the leading scorer for the Rockets. No, she's got 7 now, the leading scorer for the Rockets.
That was a wonderful play over by Toledo, as we see now Michigan taking it, trying to answer with Cameron Williams doing a nice post move spin under the basket for the shot to fall, putting the score at now 14-17 with Ohio still leading, or excuse me, Toledo still leading. See pass fake by number 33. She tries to move in. There's a little bit of Toledo slowing down here now. Michigan playing heavy defense as Garcia comes up, sets the pick. Number 5, Lockett comes around for the shot, and she hits another bank shot from the three-point line.
Shoot. She gets the bank open again.
Which was a beautiful play movement by Toledo again. We'll see how Michigan comes back and answers. With number 11, Cam Schroeder with the shot. Doesn't seem to go in. Number 33, Taylor Williams with the spoon move right at the free throw line for the jump shot, and it doesn't fall. Toledo comes back. We see number 33 going across the court, receiving the pass at the top of the three-point line. Toledo slowing it down a little bit. Garcia setting the pick. Number 2, Wire drives into the basket between 2 Michigan defenders and makes the layup.
Yeah, Lockett, really good drive inside. She's showing why she's the reigning MAC Player of the Year and favored to win another MAC Player of the Year.
All right, we see
Looks like another illegal screen called on Michigan.
Michigan has had a lot of difficulty with these turnovers, which is exactly what they don't need for this
that's
game.
their 5th turnover of the ball game already.
You know, we had a lot of hope coming into the second quarter, but now Michigan trails 14 behind Toledo 22. As we see Cam Schroeder at the top of the key. Oh, excuse me. That was a jump shot.
Lockett getting this crowd fired up. You have to press her. You gotta hard head those screens. Can't let her get open right at the elbow. She fired an easy 2, and that was actually good coverage defensively. She just hit the shot. She's got 10 on 4 or 5 shooting. Michigan has to lock down on Lockett. You cannot let her beat you.
Now in that last play, we see Novorowski and Lockett kind of working together. Novorowski uses her size and her physicality to come and set the screen, allowing for Lockett to open up and have that shot, which Michigan hasn't really been doing a lot of. You know, we've seen them swinging the ball around at the top of the key, kind of playing catch, kind of lobbing it over to one side to the other, having the occasional penetration, the occasional drive, but nothing is falling. And the most important part of this game is having your shots fall and making sure that your defense plays strong and the other team stays shut down. So we're going to see how Michigan does when we come back from this media timeout. But they've really got to step it up and capitalize on every single possession that they have, because at the moment they're trailing by 10 when a minute ago they were only trailing by 3. So Michigan has to come in, close these gaps that they're having. We'll see if head coach can come in and fix the issues that they're having. But right now, we wait for the game to resume. What do you think, Peter?
Yeah, Toledo, props to them. They're playing with energy. They're feeding off of this crowd. I'm looking forward to seeing what the announced attendance is for this crowd. But yeah, 7-0 run, the last minute plus. And I think that's a good timeout by Kim Barnes-Arico. She's got to get this team settled down, get them to have more success. We've seen some success down low with Cameron Williams. Layla Felia only 1 for 4 from the field. She has to improve her efficiency and she needs to get aggressive. That battle with her and Lockett 4 or 5. Felia's only 1 for 4, so Felia definitely, she's wanting to definitely improve her efficiency and get her aggressiveness, continue to drive inside, get open looks. But credit to Toledo for preventing that early on, and we'll see how Michigan does to adjust. Yeah,
we see Stuck coming in now for Cameron Williams as this media timeout kind of plays out. But looking at the stats for this game right now, Lockett has 10 points. She's the highest scorer on this team today with 2 assists, which I want to say kind of shows that she is the leader of this team. Regardless of Wired coming in and helping out, trailing behind her with 7 points, it's essential for Michigan to kind of avoid crashing their boards and only focusing on the outside or the inside defense, because at the moment, the majority of Lockett and Wired's points aren't coming from layups. They're coming from three-point shots that hit the backboard, hit the bank, and make it in. So at the moment, Michigan has to kind of close in on their guys, or excuse me, on their women, close in on their players and continue the game. We see number 30 under the basket for Michigan, stuck as she came in on her first possession of the game. Pass up to Novoroski at the top of the key, down low to number 5, Lockett, trying to go to the basket and hit the lane, but is stopped by Taylor Williams.
That was a good cut by Lockett and drawing some contact, and they're going to send her to the line to shoot 2, her first free throws of the evening.
You know, that was a good stop, however, by Williams.
Yeah, you got to make her earn everything, and that's what Michigan looks like they're going to tend to do as Lockett hits the first
and
one.
It's just a matter of Michigan getting lucky with the call or not. You know, there's in this kind of game with the size of these women, it's hard to not cause a foul, considering how you have to use your body as your main defense mechanism to keep these women from driving the basket and keep the big centers and forwards from taking advantage of you under the basket. So we see now Michigan setting up. Number 30 stuck, passing it, inbounding it to Lauren Hansen, who just came back in. She passes it to the elbow, looking for movement, retrieves the ball back at the top of the key. Doing some ball work at the top. Number 22, Evans, driving in. Shot goes up. Recovered by Michigan. There seems to be a little bit of a battle at half court, as they're probably going to call a jump ball.
Yeah, Toledo with good defense on that possession. Michigan with a tough shot that wasn't able to get it to fall. And then the ball is poked loose. A little bit of bodies to the floor, diving for the possession. Michigan got the ball, forced a jump, and the arrow is pointing towards the Wolverines, so they'll get a chance to get another possession back and bring it within 10, or bring it to 10 points, so they're down 12.
Yeah, that was a beautiful recovery by Zero Brett as she tried to make sure that they got the possession again after that potential turnover. Layla Feely at the top of the key, driving in. Shot goes up. She is completely shut down by Novoroski as she causes the turnover. And it is once again Toledo's possession. Toledo swings it in the top. Number 5 holding it. Lockett takes a shot. Doesn't seem to make it. Lockett and Hansen kind of race to the ball to try to get their possession, but it seemed to go out of bounds.
Yeah, Michigan fortunate Lockett didn't hit that. She was left open for 3. And back at the other end, Feely with a good drive, but going up against 6'5" Narowski, that's a tough layup to go, and Narowski sent it back to the delight of this crowd.
I like to see Narowski on Toledo. She is single-handedly shutting down the Wolverines offense. We'll see how she does again now with Layla Feely taking the shot at the top of the key. Doesn't fall, unfortunately. Once again, Michigan fights for the ball. Doesn't seem like they gain the possession.
Yeah, the ball just, after the miss, just sat on the baseline, and Toledo with possession.
Number 5, Lockett, taking it up the court. Passing number 22, doesn't seem to gain possession. It causes a over and back call as number 30, Renat, was unable to hold onto the ball to continue the play.
Just a sloppy pass there.
Yeah.
Can Michigan take advantage? They haven't scored. Toledo's on a 9-0 run over the past 3 minutes. Michigan's got to find some answer here, as they have been 0 for their last 6 from the field.
Brett at the top of the key, passing it to Hansen as she tries to drive in, is stopped by Lockett. She takes a shot at the top of the key. Once again, is subjected to the three-pointer, but it doesn't seem to be falling for Michigan today. Lockett driving into the basket, takes it quick down the court, tries to go for the shot, recovered by Novoroski as she puts it back up, having Toledo 28-14 right now, trailing above Michigan. We saw number 22 try to go for the shot as Michigan tried to answer that shot by Narowski, but she came back down, and all Narowski had to do was hold herself, hold her arms up, and secure her body to make sure that none of the Michigan centers are able to do anything that they're good at.
Yeah, she's got good position side, Narowski does. And then offensively, just getting the rebound, just using her 6'5" frame to her advantage and getting an easy putback.
Number 5 takes the shot. Ophelia tries to take the shot, doesn't go up. Crowd chanting air ball after Layla Ophelia missed that. She tries to recover again. She takes the lane, takes the shot, doesn't necessarily fall. Toledo brings it back down the court for the shot, and the three-point shot for number 30. Lynette.
Defense to offense, Michigan did not, Toledo forcing a tough shot by Ophelia, and then in transition, the open three, and then Michigan turns the ball over right away, and they're giving this crowd something to cheer for. It is loud here in Savage Arena.
We are seeing exactly what we saw last year from Toledo here in Savage Stadium. Toledo came in and had a 50% three-point shot percentage in Chrysler Arena last year, and we're starting to see a little bit more of that here in Savage Arena with Toledo coming in and leading the push as they come down, and almost all their points being shot off three-point shots.
Yeah, they're 5 for 10 from beyond the long line.
Garcia at the top now, holding the ball, looking for some action under the basket. Doesn't find any. Pass to number 2. Swung to number 30 with a shot. Doesn't seem to fall. Recovered by Michigan with Hansen bringing it down. She tries to make a move. Pass back up to Brett. She takes the shot, and it falls for the three-pointer.
Much needed 3 for Michigan, ending the run.
That possession was very smooth and controlled by Michigan, something that we haven't really been able to see with Toledo shutting down their offense. But now we saw Lockett try to come in for the shot, didn't seem to fall. Hansen goes up for the jump shot. She makes it right at the block.
Really good hesitation by Hansen, getting the defender to stop just enough for Hansen to be able to drive by and then pull up for a nice jumper from beyond, just a little bit outside the block. And Michigan with a really quick 5-0 run to force a Toledo timeout. That's what you need. Why the crowd went to the absolute highest they've been, the loudest they've been today, and for Michigan to come back with hit a 3 and then get a nice little jumper from the block, forcing a timeout. Good start for Michigan in this comeback, and they got to keep that going. It looks like when they have these quicker possessions, that's where they're finding more success compared to when they set up in their offense, where Toledo's getting a good chance to set up defensively. So we'll see if Michigan adjusts and tries to speed things up a little bit without being too careless. These last 2 possessions, even if Michigan can get the ball moving quickly, get some drives inside, they can find some open looks, and they just need to hit them. That's the thing. Only 29% from 3, the Wolverines are, and only 31% in general. They've shot the ball poorly. Can they improve that here as we finish off the second quarter?
3 minutes left in the quarter. We see Toledo having some ball movement at the top of the key, looking for some action. Pass across court to Renat. Shot goes up. She doesn't seem to make her 3. Recovered by Hansen on the rebound. She's taking it quickly down the court. Tries to drive for penetration. Shot goes up for the jumper. She's blocked by Garcia. She retrieves her missed shot and passes to Cameron Williams as she tried to pass it low to Taylor Williams, and it doesn't seem to catch her hands real quick. Toledo brings it back down the court for the jump shot. Again by Wired at the top of the three-point line.
Yeah, you have to get to her. You can't leave her open for 3. She was able to connect Makanovich with the 3. That's her 5 points on the evening.
We saw a nice little post move by Williams as she tried to get over Toledo's defense, but didn't make it through. So the ball goes back out to Hansen. Pass up to Brett, back down to Williams, outside to number 11, Cam Schroeder, as she goes up for the shot, and she can't seem to make her jumper fall.
That's a good look by Cam Schroeder. Was able to pump fake on the 3 right at the free throw line, just couldn't get it to fall.
It seemed to be a foul as Barrett try to force the charge, but it doesn't seem. It seems as if it was a.
Called the block, it looks like. Brett
Yeah, it seems as if it was a block rather than the charge as she was trying to force it.
As Kenesha Lockett comes back in, the leading scorer for the Rockets with 12. Michigan has to find her every possession.
We see Hansen kind of coming in for Felia, allowing Felia to kind of take that break a little bit. With number 2 on Toledo, looking for movement on the top of her possession. Number 5, Lockett tries to come back in. She swings to the outside, back to the top. Shot goes to the outside again, back to Lockett. Shot goes up for the 3. It's missed, recovered by Michigan. Number 0, Barrett.
That was a great possession by the Rockets as the ball was tipped out of bounds, so Michigan will retain. But it all started with Lockett getting able to drive inside and then passing it down the baseline to the corner, and then that one more pass to get the open look. They just couldn't get it to fall. But that was a really good possession by Toledo. Props to them there.
I very much agree with you, Peter. Beautiful possession. Michigan inbounds it, taking it back out to Barrett at the elbow. Seems to be there was a block by number 30 on Toledo, Renette.
I believe they're going to call this before the shot, as Brett was cutting in before she got the shot up. But with a minute 35 left, this is a chance for Michigan. They're only 2 for the last 15 from the field. Get a couple baskets to go, get a little bit of confidence going into the halftime.
Closes this gap a little bit. Number 33 seems to lose her footing a little bit. Shot goes up by Barrett. Seems as if it was an offensive foul on Barrett as she used her body to kind of lean into that shot, causing her defender to fall over.
They call that on Taylor Williams inside. That's not a good thing for Michigan. And now another turnover. That's Michigan's 9th turnover of the half.
My dad used to always tell me, Peter, that there's 2 things that win games: defense and free throws. And right now we're not really seeing that defensive half of the advice. Garcia retrieves the ball under the basket, goes up for the layup, and it falls, putting the score now to 36-19 with Toledo with all the momentum today. Cameron Williams has it underneath the basket, passes it out to Crockett. She passes it over back to Hansen, looking for her to make a move. Doing a little ball handling, fakes against her defender, opens up. Back to Crockett. She loses it, turns it over, picked up by Wired as she takes it, Lockett as she takes down the court. And there's a block called by Barrett as she didn't really solidify her feet as she was moving against the defender. She kind of used her body to slide and rammed into I believe it was Lockett as she was coming down the sideline or the baseline, trying to find that layup, but ended up retrieving the foul rather than actually causing the turnover. Yeah,
and that being the 5th foul on the Wolverines this quarter, so Lockett will go to the line to shoot 2. But I've really been impressed with Toledo defensively. They've made Michigan's life miserable, and they've really had to earn every basket. As the first free throw falls for Lockett. Perfect 3 for 3 early, but yeah, with 41 seconds left, maybe one more possession for Michigan just to get something going before the halftime.
Another shot attempt from the free throw line by Lockett. Her 2nd good free throw. Hansen coming down the court. Passed over to Hobbs. Inside to Williams. Shot goes up. Doesn't seem to fall. Now that recovered by number 2, Wired, as she slowly takes it up the court. Hand it off to 5. Back up to the top of the key. Now Williams came in, ball down low to Garcia to the top of the free throw line. Shot goes up, does not fall by Lockett, and the free throw is recovered by Michigan's defense.
Like watching Lockett move off the ball when she doesn't have the ball, it's really impressive. It's getting Toledo some good looks. Garcia was able to get the ball, and then she was able to find Lockett, who's really staying aggressive, looking for a shot. But Michigan with 3.7 seconds left, a chance to get a good look here, get within within 18 or whatever it is.
We see Toledo playing heavy press defense. Number 30 from Toledo came in, stole the ball from Felia's hands and tried to shoot it from the corner.
I think they said she was out of bounds, though, but that's great defense. And now with 2.1 to go, can Michigan get something? It looks like they're just going to go in and take into the halftime locker room. Take the loss there for this half, regroup, go into the locker room, and really try to find something to get back into it. Because that was definitely a really good half for Toledo, and we'll see how Michigan can recover and respond.
What a tremendous effort from Toledo's, both, I want to say, offense and defense today. I haven't been impressed with a basketball team like this year, being that Michigan has kind of taken the lead in all their opponents. But Toledo has really come in and they've kind of set their ground as this is our court today. They've played a very strong under the basket man defense, knowing exactly when to switch to help when we would see Lauren Hansen try to maneuver her body into the paint. However, they've had a little bit of issues with their three-pointers. You know, we saw them coming into Ann Arbor last year with a 50% with a 50% three-point percentage. However, this year they're coming in having a little bit more difficulty at the top of their three-point line, but a tremendous effort by Toledo overall.
Yeah, props to them. They've hit their shots. They've made Michigan have to earn everything offensively with their really aggressive D. And then Kanisha Lockett has been as average. I was really excited to watch her play. She's gotten a lot of accolades. She's on the watch list for many awards, including the mid-major player of the year, and I could see why. She's just all over the floor on both ends. Offensively really aggressive, finding players, using her speed to get inside, and then able to get the defense to break down by getting inside, and from there she's able to find players open beyond the outside, finish it herself. Props to her. She's got 14 in 17 minutes, and if Michigan wants to come back, they have to shut her down. But definitely, this is a really good test for Michigan. The first time besides the loss to Ole Miss in the Bahamas, this is a really good opportunity on the road, a true road environment, being down, facing a lot of adversity. How Michigan can respond these first few minutes coming out of the locker room is going to be critical for the way that this game goes and for how Michigan can build confidence-wise and take that going in to the rest of the season. But starts here, lots of time left for the Wolverines. They're definitely within this game is definitely within reach. They just have to get some shots to fall, improve a little bit on the defensive end, and still should be a really fun second half. And it's been a great first half, great atmosphere. It's been really fun. Once again, this is the first ever WCBN broadcast from the University of Toledo, from Jeff Savage Arena. And it's been exciting. It's been as advertised. It's been a great time so far, and we should have a great second half coming up soon.
We have a second half coming up very soon with Daniel Olson joining the call. I'll be continuing play-by-play in the next half, but Toledo has definitely come in and shut down Layla Filia, and honestly causing a lot of frustration for Lauren Hansen. She is used to doing the between the legs, dribbling the ball in front of her defender, and then making her defender very frustrated, and then slipping by them, kind of getting in the way of, or getting out of the way of her defender, which we haven't really been able to see her do much in this game. Layla Filia today only has 2 points and no assists, so it's gonna be interesting to see how Layla Filia kind of continues on into the next half, considering she is a leader on this team. She is a person who, alongside Lauren Hansen, who also only has 2 points in this game. Those two are the top leading scorers of this team. And if you shut those two down, Toledo has done a wonderful job in finding those areas of Michigan's strengths and turning it to a frustrating turn of events for Michigan, considering that they don't have any time to make plays because Toledo's defense is always in their face. And especially with the big men in the bottom, I say big men, of course big women, we see the bigs and the centers in the bottom coming in and shutting down Taylor Williams. They're shutting down Cameron Williams, Hobbs, all these women that have specialty and talent under the basket. But when you're matched up with somebody of their equal size or even larger that Michigan necessarily, I wouldn't say, is used to seeing, it really brings another level of play that Toledo is providing for this game here today in our first broadcast in Toledo. So.
And yeah, you brought up a really good point. Toledo really emphasized, you could tell, stopping Feely and Hansen, and they've done that. Feely 1 for 8 from the field. If you're Feely, you got to put that behind you. You have to start fresh. Forget about the first half. Stay aggressive. I like her aggressiveness, but those looks, she's had a couple tough looks that couldn't fall. She's had a couple good looks that she also couldn't get to fall. So just staying aggressive, put that first half behind her. And you said they're the leaders of this team, and KBA knows that she needs to trust her leaders to get the team out of this hole, and that's who you lean on. So that's what I expect Michigan to come out firing, see if they try and get it inside with Cameron Williams, who has 6 points for Michigan. She and Brett are the leading scorers, but focusing on the inside, that's big for Michigan. But like I said, lots of time left through the whole half of play. Staying aggressive, not let the crowd, or not let what happened in the first half affect you going into the second half. Put it aside, 0-0, play strong. Anything could happen. You get hot, because obviously Michigan definitely did not shoot the ball well. As poor of a shooting performance as you can get, 27% from the field, 8 for 30. So if you just get some better looks and get them to fall, get a little run, get the crowd out of it, and you're right back in this game. So that's got to be the focus for this team coming into the second half. There's still a lot looking forward to it.
It's as we continue with 8 minutes left in the halftime, I want to bring up somebody who we haven't really seen much as a large contender in past games, and that is Elisa Brett. Elisa Brett comes into this game with 6 points. She is the leading scorer alongside Cameron Williams, who also has 6 points. And her average is right at 6. So we're going to see her today. She's had her last 7 games off the bench. She's been a little bit more of a presence this year than she has in the past. So she has been a large contender and really gaining that speed that Michigan needs in order to find movement and find a gap in Toledo's defense and make a play, because at the moment Layla Felia and Lauren Hansen are not doing that. Layla Felia leads the last 7 games with double-figure scorings, with double-figure scoring digits. So when you take that away, and actually Lauren Hansen comes in number 2 with 5 10-plus games. So when you have these 2 leading scorers that are completely shut down, you need that person to step in, and those 2 people that have stepped in this game were Cameron Williams and Elisa Brett. Cameron Williams has always been a strong component underneath the basket. She's always had that strength and that physicality that Michigan needs against players like Novorosky and Garcia that are just dominating in the paint today.
Yeah, you're right. And you mentioned Brett, 2 big threes, and she was open, she's hitting them. That's the thing. Michigan has not done that today. But with Brett being able to do that, if you can get a couple good looks from 3, kind of just get some little confidence builders early. You got these first few minutes coming out of the locker room are going to be critical for Michigan and how they respond to this game and how they attack.
I'm getting nervous here, Peter. I'm getting nervous. You know, Michigan trails behind 19-38 Toledo. So
It's going to be a fun one, though. Either way, it's going to be a really fun one. It's been a fun one.
Very exciting. This whole energy that the stadium has had in the last 10 minutes of this game. So I'm very excited. Peter, we're going to be switching now from Peter Nasr to Daniel Olson. Will jump on to the second half. So
it was great being on the call this half.
Stay with us. Thank you so much, Peter, for joining.
I appreciate it. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. My first road game with WCBN. The first time here in Toledo for anyone for WCBN. Get a put a pin on the map in the studio when we get back, which will be really cool. Yeah, this should be a really fun second half. Daniel Olson's going to have a great call this second half. It's going to be really fun and looking forward to it. And we'll see how Michigan can respond and bounce back.
All right, join back with us in about... All right, welcome back to WCBN Sports. We have 4 minutes and 30 seconds left in this halftime. Thank you for bearing with us in that small delay as we made some switches on our call today. I have alongside me now to call the second half, Daniel Olson. Daniel, you've been sitting next to Peter and I for the last half. What have you seen in this team that is causing this kind of hiccup in their season, this little hiccup against Toledo that I think everyone expected to come out and actually wipe the floor with them? What do you think about today?
Well, I certainly think that Toledo's played off the energy of their crowd. It's an amazing atmosphere. I'm sure you and Peter have touched on that throughout the first half. A whiteout here, sold-out crowd. And right from the jump, you saw Toledo get off to a hot start. And it took Michigan a little bit of time to settle into this game. But the issues for Michigan have been the turnovers. It's 11 turnovers to Toledo's 5, and Toledo scored 18 points off of those Michigan turnovers. Massive difference in this game, especially with the lead being 19. Also a massive difference in three-point shooting. You're not going to win a game in which the other team is shooting about 45% from three. So Michigan's got to do a better job of closing out on the perimeter, and they have to maintain offensive possessions. They've done an excellent job of getting on the offensive glass. And I think there's some ways that Michigan can get back into this game, but it certainly will start with keeping possession of the ball on offense and then kind of matching the energy of this Toledo crowd and this Toledo Rockets team.
You know, one thing about this crowd is that although they are extremely supportive for their Rockets, they go completely silent when Michigan scores a basket, whether that's a free throw, whether that's from the three-point line, or a jumper from the middle. So Michigan, in order to not only shut down Toledo, but also to shut down the entire environment, is that they need to come in and they need to absolutely dominate in their offense right now. And that's something that they're not doing, but it's evident that you see these women coming in and this crowd going crazy for a women's basketball game. When was the last time you saw a women's basketball game this packed in the Chrysler Arena?
Never. I think this is a different atmosphere down here. It's a lot of excitement. You can tell the fans are extremely passionate, and rightfully so. They've gotten a good performance tonight from their team. Their best players have showed up. Lockett has 14 points. Wired has another 7. They combined for about 30, 31, 32 on the season, so to get 21 out of them in the first half is quite impressive, and they put on a show. It's always fun when three-pointers go in, gives the crowd something to cheer about. And Toledo's done a good job of capitalizing on Michigan's mistakes. I mentioned the 18 points off turnovers, but 6 of 7 from the line off of Michigan fouls as well, and then 13 of 28 from the floor. That's 46%. Not good enough by the Michigan defense, but also just a good job of capitalizing on open looks for that Toledo offense, and it's helped them balloon this lead to 19, doubling up the Wolverines in the first half.
Yeah, we see Michigan now trailing behind Toledo with a 27% a 33% free throw percentage, which is extremely low compared to Toledo that has an 86%. Again, their turnovers are 11 turnovers on Michigan's stats versus Toledo that only has 5. When you compare those two numbers, Daniel, who do you when you strictly looking at the numbers, you expect Toledo to win this game?
Yeah, you certainly do, especially Michigan shooting 26.7% from the floor. 8 made field goals at 30 attempts is not good enough. I do think they can get back into this game, and I'll elaborate on these points as the half goes along, but Michigan got 9 offensive rebounds in that first half, so Toledo needs to do a better job of controlling the defensive glass. But if Michigan can continue to give themselves more chances on offense, I think they've got a shot to be able to get back in this game. Obviously, somebody's going to have to get hot and start making some shots, and I think they can unlock some three-pointers, utilizing the drive and kick game a little bit more. Guards got a little too deep on their drive in the first half, we saw a lot of block shots from Toledo in that first half. I think if Michigan uses one less dribble on the drive, kicks, start knocking down some threes, they can, again, as you mentioned, quiet this crowd a little bit and start to find their rhythm in this game.
Yeah, we're now seeing on the court before the start of the second half, Noworowski is not in for Toledo. They put in Jessica Cook as the big man under the basket. So we're going to see how she does in Noworowski's shoes to shut down Michigan's offense. Now Toledo comes in with the ball wired. Starting out slow, passes it over to Lockett, passes it into the basket, back to Jessica Cook. She goes up for the shot and actually gets a foul off the shot from Michigan. Personal foul by Cameron Williams, her first. Shot go. With her first attempt at the free throw.
So it came off a little curl screen there at the elbow. Got a good layup. Excellent opening play from Toledo.
She makes her second free throw attempt. Quickly passing it in to number 1. Hansen takes it down the court quickly, waits for her team to set up. Hobbs to the top of the key. Quick ball movement by Michigan here. Pass it down low to Hobbs. She's faced by Wired at the bottom. Felia coming in for the drive. She makes the shot under the basket. Double manned by 2 of Toledo's big men, and she's able to penetrate through and make the basket. Something that we've been needing her to do since the beginning of this game. Toledo now at the top, looking for movement. Shot goes up by number 2, Wired, for a nice little jumper on the corner, putting the score up to 39-21. Layla Felia slowing the court down a little bit as her teammates move around, opening up the floor. No big men under the basket yet. Layla Felia drives down when she passes it to Hobbs. Hobbs goes up for the shot. She makes it, closing the gap, the 20-point gap, now to 23-41. Lockett passes it inside to Jessica Cook as she spins around looking for movement, passes it behind her to number 22, Goss, then back out. Jessica comes into the basket. Cook with the spin move. She has the shot and she makes it. Nice little spin move under the basket by Jessica Cook.
Toledo's controlled the paint so far this afternoon. Continues to do so early in the second half.
Michigan again with possession. Seems like there's a little bit of a difference in what to do for this play. Number 5, Littlefield takes it down the court. She uses her shoulder to try to go in for the layup and is blocked by Jessica Cook. Ball is recovered by Toledo, passed out to number 2, brings it down the court. Now to number 33. Little handoff top, swinging on the top for Toledo. Not really finding any movement within the paint. Cameron Williams comes back out. Ball pass around to number 33. Mikrowski shot for the shot. Doesn't seem to fall for that one for her.
Much better defense there from Michigan. You could see the activity on the defensive end. Multiple helps, multiple rotations. That's the kind of effort it's going to take in a game where your offense isn't quite clicking. I do like Felia's aggressiveness here on the other side, though, being able to get to the basket and try and create for the Wolverines. They're going to need more of that here.
Seems a little bit more communication from Michigan on their offense as we see Layla Felia at the top of the key looking for some movement. Pick set by Cameron Williams as Felia takes to take the drive. She goes up for the layup and is confronted by Navrowski as she's back in and actually makes the layup and is actually setting up for the extra point.
There's another aggressive drive by Felia. As I mentioned, that's 3 straight attacking offensive possessions for this Wolverines offense, and starting to see a little bit of rhythm out there for the Wolverines and Felia specifically.
Yeah, Felia seemed to get her footing a little bit, get out of her head as she comes back to this game nice and refreshed. Now we have Renat at the top of the key for Toledo, passing it around. Nice swing move there for Toledo in the top. Still no movement inside. Keeping it on the outside. Ball was passed over to number 2, Wired. But there was a personal foul on Navrowski.
Michigan's kind of switched into a 2-3 zone here, which is kind of the risk you need to take at this point. Obviously, Toledo knocking down a lot of shots in that first half. Doesn't set itself up well for the zone, but Michigan seems to be flying around, communicating a lot better in that zone defense.
I totally agree. Michigan has kind of lost her footing here in this last play as Cameron Williams receives the ball, kind of looking confused at the top. Layla Felia goes in for the drive, kind of has an up and under for the shot. Doesn't seem to fall on the layup, recovered by Toledo as they quickly bring it back down the court. Michigan set up in a nice help zone, in a nice 2-3 zone. Shot goes in for Wayard as Michigan kind of lost their footing a little bit, didn't really have the structure or the communication that they needed to stop.
Michigan got stuck playing man there, and Wired made the defense play. A little crossover at the elbow, gets to her spot, jump stop. Nice control using 2 feet. Strong finish with the right hand over Hansen as Toledo keeps Michigan at bay.
We have now another substitution for Lockett. Free throw attempt goes in. Shot good. Michigan quickly inbounds the ball as they bring it up the court, past half court. Layla Felia looking for some movement at the top. Not really finding anything. Waiting for her teammates to move. Little handoff back to Felia as she takes a round, drives, and it's a travel call on Felia actually as she really tried to push through the defense and make a layup, but didn't really seem to have that ability just yet. Toledo takes it to the top of the key. Number 2 finds an opening for the jumper. Wayard doesn't seem to make it. Then recovered by Michigan's defense as they quickly bring it down the court. And there is actually a charge call on Hobbs as she really tried to do the same thing that Layla Felia did and create some momentum in there and really use her body and her aggression to drive to the basket and make that shot, but unfortunately her efforts turned into a charge rather than.
That's what I talked about, being a little overzealous on the driving by Michigan. Good opportunity to kick there, but Hobbs full steam ahead, draws a charge.
There's a shot by Lockett on Toledo, recovered by Hobbs as she brings it down the court. Looking for her teammates. Brett at the top of the key, driving in. Doesn't seem to find movement. Passes it to Cameron Williams, who passes it back to the top. Shot by Layla Felia on the corner, and it falls.
There's the adjustment there by Felia. Instead of going all the way to the rim where Garcia's done an excellent job of walling up inside, she stops at the elbow and knocks down the jumper.
We see Lockett driving to the basket, then kicked out to the corner, back to the top of the key for another bank shot by Renette.
Sometimes it's just your night. That's 2 now for Toledo bank threes, and
that's 3 bank threes tonight.
The Wolverines can't seem to buy one.
Little miscommunication at the top of the key. Now ball with Ophelia. She takes the jumper from the elbow and it falls. Nice answer to Toledo's previous three-pointer. Ophelia's now back at her standing of double-digit scoring for the season. Back at 11 points now. A little bit of a tussle at the top of the key for the ball. Layla Ophelia passes it to Cameron Williams from the floor. Brett takes it, the shot, misses. I honestly don't think that was the smartest move for Brett. There were no big men under the basket, and she took the shot from the three-point line rather than using her speed and her advantage to make a layup, which is a significantly easier shot than that three-point shot that she tried.
She's shown today that she's capable of making the three, but in that scenario certainly had a lane to the basket, and 14 minutes left in this game. Michigan hasn't been able to chip away at this lead at all here in the third quarter. Obviously the three-point shots are going to have to go down if the Wolverines want to win this game, but taking the easy transition points where you can get them is certainly a good call, and that was certainly a chance for Brett to get downhill and get an easy basket and maybe draw a foul, start to slow this game down a little bit so that the Wolverines can kind of chip away and find some more rhythm on offense, which they found a little bit with Layla Ophelia. She's gotten to that elbow a couple times. She's gotten to the rack a couple times. That's what your best players are supposed to do, is try and keep you afloat, try and keep you in games. And long term, even if the Wolverines aren't able to come back in this game, they can find a little something on offense, find some confidence, and practice some things potentially that you're not going to be able to practice or get the quality of rep that you would get in practice.
No, I totally agree. Brett comes in from Bowling Green State last year with 1,358 points to rank the 15th all-time. And last year she actually played Toledo and scored a high of 7 threes in the last game against Toledo last year. So she's obviously capable of using her strength as a three-point shooter to shoot and increase the deficit or decrease the deficit for Michigan. But it's hard at this point in the game when you really need to take advantage of the time that you have. You only have 4 minutes left in this quarter, and then your last fourth quarter is the last chance that you have to really close this score gap. So Michigan hasn't really been able to have any of their shots fall. I mean, every time Hansen comes in for the shot, she takes it from the elbow and it doesn't seem to fall. It hits it probably off the side of the corner of the net or just off the back. So slowing down, yes, they do have the ability of their speed to really make a play and make things move, but at the same time, slowing down and looking for that opening while fighting the shot clock is something that Michigan has to do a little bit better on in order for them to continue.
Certainly do, and you mentioned Brett's 7 three-pointers here last year. Michigan would certainly like her to find some of that form, and sometimes it's all about an arena and a court and a net, an atmosphere that kind of allows you to thrive, and I think Brett feels comfortable here. Obviously Michigan looking for somebody, whether it's Brett or Williams or potentially Layla Ophelia, to get it going from the outside to really start chipping into this lead here.
Yeah, now we see Toledo inbounding the ball. Nice pressure from Michigan, doing a full court press as Toledo's having difficulty getting it across half court. Causing some problems. There seems to be an injury with number 33. Number 30 on Toledo takes it down, bounce passes it to number 33 to the corner. She takes the shot, doesn't seem to make it. Ball recovered by Cook as she passes it out to McConitz, and she doesn't make the shot.
It's like Brett stepped in there and took a much-needed charge for the Wolverines. I do like the press here by Coach Kim Barnes-Arico to try and speed up Toledo a little bit, force them into some mistakes. We mentioned only 5 turnovers in the first half for the Rockets. Michigan can get some more easy transition buckets. That would certainly help them cut away at this lead.
No, I agree. I think they need to continue pressing in order to kind of shut down the speed of Toledo's offense. Hobbs went for the side layup, didn't seem to make it. It was recovered by number 22, Evans. However, she had a little bit of difficulty holding onto the ball under the basket. Now we see a nice trap in the corner by Michigan as they continue their heavy press on Toledo's offense. Number 22, Goss, passes it inside to Jessica Cook, looking for movement. Doesn't seem to find a shot inside. Ball goes back out with Wired with the shot as she uses the lane to try to get the shot, but is stopped by Cameron Williams. Williams takes it down the court. She's kind of bodied by Cook. And Hobbs goes down hard as Cook Cook just rammed into her and tried to get the ball from her, causing Hobbs to almost hit her head on the floor in that play.
A couple back-to-back good defensive possessions for the Wolverines. A lot more activity. I think the press has kind of gotten the juices going a little bit, almost as if sort of an attempt or a forced way to kind of manufacture some energy out of her team. Coach Barnes-Arico has gone to that press, and Toledo has to find the right balance of being patient yet aggressive and taking the right shot, because against the press, shots will open up.
We saw Brett once again lose her control under the basket. This is the second time Michigan has kind of had butterfingers with the ball as they're trying to make an offensive play. So it seems like they're getting, like you mentioned before, Daniel, a little overzealous with their plays. They're kind of moving, their mind is moving before their hands. So they, like I mentioned before, they kind of need to slow down a little bit and control their possessions, even though the time is kind of working against them. We see number 5, Lockett, at the top of the key now with the jump shot from the corner. It doesn't fall. It's recovered by Hobbs as she quickly takes it down the court. She kind of drives into the basket, pops it back out to number 22, Evans. To 33, Cameron Williams doing some ball movement under the basket, trying to get in the way of the defenders. Tries to passes it to Brett, but it's quickly stopped by Garcia in her way.
It's a good cut by Brett coming from that back corner to help out. Draw the foul. Michigan in the bonus here for the last 2 minutes. A chance to be aggressive, attack, get some free throws and some points without time running off the clock.
We saw Brett try to go for the layup and is awarded a personal foul, or is awarded 2 free throws now. Nice energy from the crowd today. She makes her first attempt. Brett has been a very, very large player in today's offense, like we mentioned before. She's got 7 points, and she misses her second free throw, but it is then recovered by number 33, Taylor Williams, and put back up for 2 more points. Michigan continues this heavy pressure on Toledo's offense.
This press for the Wolverines has given Toledo some trouble. Ball keeps getting into that top corner, sort of wing extended on their offensive side of the half court. Using that half court line and the sideline as extra defenders are the Wolverines, and Toledo's having some trouble breaking that press, and it's also speeding Toledo up. But I think what I really like about this press is that it's kind of it's making Michigan match the energy that is required to win this game, and you can see it defensively. Toledo hasn't scored in 3 minutes and 4 seconds now. And you mentioned Michigan playing a little bit quickly on offense. I think their clock got sped up. Their mental kind of game clock, speed clock going a little quick in that first half, given the atmosphere, given the energy. I think this press has kind of helped them corral that energy and put it forward in a productive manner. And you can see them starting to kind of chip away at this lead. Still 16 points, but with 12 minutes left in this game and Toledo going on a 3-minute scoring drought, you see that it's possible for Michigan to continue to chip away and get it to single digits here.
They've got time to do that, though. They have. Right now in the middle of this media timeout, they still have 1 minute and 45 seconds left in the third quarter, and then they have an entire another quarter to do so. And Michigan is very capable of coming back and closing this, 16-point deficit, which is not as much in a basketball game as you would think. That's coming down the court a couple more times, shutting down Toledo's key defense, Navrosky and Garcia and Cook, in order to really get the points to fall, because as of right now, Jessica Cook on Toledo has been doing a wonderful job kind of stepping in for Navrosky to give her a break, as she is, I don't know if you've seen Daniel, but she's been very, very aggressive under the basket.
Yep.
She's been using her body and then more than her arms, more than your hands, which is something that is not necessarily recognized as acceptable in basketball, but it's definitely part of the game.
Yeah, the forwards have done an excellent job tonight for Toledo of walling up down low and making it hard for the Michigan guards. Plenty of block shots for Toledo. They have 3 of them tonight, but a lot of altered shots, making it tough for guards like Hobbs and Felia to get going under the rim. And I think Michigan started to make the adjustments of a few more floaters, a few more jump shots from a little bit farther back to get a cleaner look off.
But I think one of the most important things we've seen is that, yes, we were taking shots from around the three-point line, but now Hansen and Felia are maneuvering through the high defense of Toledo's defense and kind of swinging around them like that. They get easier shots from within the key and from the elbows rather than trying to shoot from the three-point line. So now we see 1 minute and 30 seconds left on the clock. Number 2 on Toledo wired with the ball, passing it inside for the shot by number 5 on Toledo, Lockett. Putting the score now at 51-33. Almost back at a 20-point lead for Toledo. Number 11 looks for some movement under the basket. Doesn't find anything. Tried to drive. Has to come back out. Taylor Williams passes it down to Evans. And there's another charge from Evans. They've been having a very, very hard time with these offensive fouls.
Toledo has controlled the paint. Again, I keep using the term wall up, but really captures Toledo's presence down low.
I agree. All of their players are able to use the entirety of the court, which is extremely impressive. With number 5, Lockett, tried to find a lane in the middle, couldn't find it. Passes it back out to Wired. A nice little handoff. Holding the ball at the top. Penetrates right at the elbow. Passes it. Shot goes out by number 22, Goss, from the outside three-point line, and it falls. The Toledo crowd is absolutely loving it. Felia comes back with the answer, but hits it with the charge.
Another excellent job by Toledo defender, sliding in just outside of that restricted area circle, getting her feet set, and Michigan again over-attacking on the drive, gets caught with an offensive foul, and Toledo's been able to extend their lead here in the second half up to 21. Just exactly what they wanted to do at half. Totally
agree. Number 22 drives to the basket, didn't find anything for Toledo. Wired tries to make another drive, spin move, shot from the corner. Once again, it falls. Wired has been playing an outstanding game for Toledo. Felia comes back with the answer as she makes the quick drive through the defenders and up for the layup. That is the end of the third quarter. Michigan 33, Toledo 56. in Savage Stadium. What an exciting game today. The energy in this arena is very, very, very close to that of Chrysler Arena. I won't be biased, but Chrysler definitely holds a special place. But Toledo is definitely doing a strong job in having this energy and this atmosphere that is definitely contributing to the success of their women tonight on the basketball team. You see Layla Filia coming back a little bit more in this last quarter. She started the quarter with 3 points, is now back up to 13 points, and with Toledo coming back with the answers for her increase of points for Lockett at 16 points and Wired at 14. It seems Layla Filia is having a little bit of trouble closing this gap because Wired and Lockett on Toledo have just been dominating. Every time that Layla Filia scores one layup, she scores a drive. Wired and Lockett seem to come back down and close her out. So Daniel, what do you think Layla Filia has to do, or her teammates around her has to do, in order to help her in this situation?
Yeah, I liked Filia's aggressiveness in that second half, but I thought that the key adjustment was stopping a little bit earlier on the drives and using the floater game, the mid-range jump shot, to kind of get cleaner looks, because the closer Michigan gets to the basket, Garcia has really controlled the paint for Toledo. And so Michigan continues to drive into the lane and get shot blocked, shot altered. Drive and kick game needs to be better. Michigan only took 1 3 in that.
Excuse us for a little bit of technical difficulties there. Daniel, you were saying about Garcia down in the paint.
Yeah, Michigan only took 1 3 in that third quarter. Going into the half down 19, it's going to be hard to chip away at a lead by continually shooting twos. And we mentioned the 1 3 that they took was Brett's transition 3, which we had some questions about. Seemed like she had an option for a layup there. But at this point, Michigan's got to start shooting some threes. They're down 21 points. And only shooting 8 threes in a game in which your opponent has made 8 threes is not going to cut it. And clearly is a big reason why Michigan's down on the scoreboard. I also think they stopped crashing the offensive glass. 9 offensive rebounds in that first half, only 1 in that third quarter. Just a somewhat disappointing third quarter, I think, for the Wolverines. They played with better energy defensively, which was nice, but the offensive execution is still poor. And they're running out of time to make the necessary adjustments to win this basketball game.
No, I agree. Michigan now trails 56-35, just over 20 points ahead of our Wolverines. Michigan has done actually has increased their pressure on Toledo's defense, which I think has done a wonderful job in stopping Lockett and Wired. So now we see number 22 for Michigan. Evans try to go for the layup, and she stopped, I believe fouled by Navrosky, actually, her 4th foul of the game. So now Navrosky leaves the floor, I believe, and Cook comes in as her substitution. They're going to have to keep Navrosky off the court for a little bit and allow Cook to work her magic under the basket if Toledo wants to continue shutting down Michigan. Number 2, Wired, kind of gets in a little bit of a fumble with Michigan's defense and their pressure, losing the ball under her feet right at the center of the court. I believe it was a jump. Excuse me, it was actually a foul on Layla Filia as she jumped to try to retrieve the ball. Toledo inbounds it, looking for some action. Pass down to Cook with the quick turnover for the basket. Really lacks on Michigan's defense there. Not really a strong defensive pressure on Cook. Hansen looking for some action. 22, Evans stopped in the paint. Ball gets loose. Ball is continuously loose under the basket. Hobbs tried to drive into the basket, didn't find anything. Littlefilia tried to go in for the up and under, but she ends up with a travel under the basket with heavy, heavy pressure from Cook on Toledo's defense. Michigan's coming out now with a few turnovers, which is not promising with only 9 minutes left in this game. Wired looking for movement, pass to Lockett for the shot from the three-point line. Doesn't seem to make it. Recovered by number 20 on Michigan, Crockett. Back in the game. Ball went loose under the basket. It was recovered by Hobbs as she goes up for the layup.
Michigan pushing the tempo, which they need to do as they're sort of playing against the clock here in the fourth quarter. And good things happen when you're aggressive to the basket, obviously. Almost nearly another turnover there, but got lucky. Ball bounced back to Hobbs. Would still like to see her maybe kick that out earlier.
Yeah, we had a substitution for Hobbs. She's been putting her heart and soul into this game, or excuse me, not Hobbs, for Evans. She's been putting her heart into this game under the basket, really defending Michigan's territory. For Williams, who comes in now with a lot of known strength and power that is needed. Now we see the ball being swung at the top of Toledo's defense. Lockett tried to fake for a jump shot, and then she continued her path to the basket, and it is tipped out of bounds by...
It's like there's a foul on Williams.
On Williams, correct, thank you. And now Lockett goes in for 2 shots from the free throw line.
I love Lockett's patience and balance on offense. The use of the jab step, the pump fake, always looks settled and in control. Knows where her spots are. She knocks down the first free throw, but she had an excellent game, and kind of you can see the contrast between her game on offense and the guards for Michigan seem a little out of sorts.
Yeah, I agree. Lockett now with 18 points for her team. Highest scoring player of today's game. Lauren Hansen looking for movement, moving the ball around. Felia tried to go in, and again, Layla Felia with another turnover, the travel right at the elbow. She's getting a little frustrated up here as Michigan continues to play heavy press and trapping, but Toledo seems to be getting through it as Lockett goes up for another layup, and it goes in. The crowd absolutely loving the 62-40 record we got going on right now. Michigan's kind of in a hole at the moment. They're just trying to close this deficit, and Taylor Hansen takes the shot. She does not make it. Recovered by Lockett as she brings it down the court, setting up for the offense. It almost seemed like a wire traveled there, but there was no call for that. Lockett, heavy press by Williams. Shot across court, number 33 goes up for the reverse up and under, and she makes it.
Back-to-back composed layups there by Toledo. Athletic, acrobatic, extending their lead.
We have Lauren Hansen now for Michigan. Cameron Williams drives to the basket. She is immediately fouled by Cook as she goes up now for 2 shots, 2 free throw points. And we've got now substitutions for Toledo. Seems as if they're pulling out their starters a little bit, allowing these. Oh no, excuse me, we got Garcia back in the game. Garcia is strong in the paint and is able to cover Taylor Williams extremely well, which is why I believe she was put back in there. Loud crowd for the first free throw that didn't fall. The crowd continues as she missed the second free throw, recovered by number 2, Wired for Toledo. Pass down to the basket, Garcia handed back off to number 22, Goss, as she passes it back up. Number 30 takes a drive for the basket. It was passed inside to Garcia. She doesn't seem to get her hands on it. Now they're fighting for the ball under the basket by Hobbs. And there seems to be a foul on Toledo going for Michigan's ball. It was a little bit of a quick play there, Daniel. It was kind of back and forth between the two. You didn't know whose ball it was and which direction we were going. So what do you think of, how do you think we're doing? Do you think it's just a matter of closing the score, or do you think Michigan has a chance to turn their game around in this last 6 minutes?
Certainly appreciate Michigan still willing to get on the floor for a loose ball. At this point, playing for pride, down 24 with 7 minutes left in this game. But it's going to be tough because Toledo's still high energy.
We saw Hobbs try to shoot the three, but it doesn't seem like they're going to give it to her.
Certainly seems like a much heavier whistle on the Wolverines than the home Rockets. But I'll say Toledo has been much more composed, much more disciplined tonight. Michigan's looked a little rattled right from the jump, and you can see it on offense, which has been sloppy. And then defensively, they're getting outworked and outclassed. The ball movement has looked really, really good for the Rockets. I'm not exactly sure what we're reviewing here. Potentially,
I believe they're reviewing I believe there was a foul under the basket where the shot that went up was made illegal because of the foul.
Potentially,
I could be wrong.
Some contact that might be deemed flagrant here. Try and wait for a replay to give our opinions on it. But
I have, like you mentioned before, I have seen and felt a heavier whistle for Michigan than for Toledo. We see Garcia, Cook, and Navrosky constantly using their body, sliding with their opponent, and really using their strength and their body, but not having consequences for it.
Certainly, and I think part of that has been their excellent positioning down low. They've gotten to the spots quickly, and Michigan's run into them, I think, created a lot of the issues for this Wolverines offense. And Toledo just seems to be in the right spot at the right time tonight. They're making shots, they're playing hard, they're playing together, they're playing for each other. And this is a good wake-up call for the Wolverines. Obviously, they lost to these same Rockets at home last year. Wanted to come down here and kind of return the favor, and did not match the energy from the tip. They kind of settled back into the game, but Toledo has done an excellent job of riding off this energy, but also just playing better basketball. More fundamental, more disciplined.
No, I agree. We look at the stats once again, and Toledo only has 9 turnovers, while Michigan has a whopping 19.
Yep.
That's a lot of turnovers.
Yeah, and this has been an issue for the Wolverines team in years past. When they've struggled, when they've lost games, it's because of their inability to maintain possession of the ball on offense. Earlier in the game against Ole Miss, they had 13, 14 turnovers in that game as well, and only shot 25% from the field. So this is a Wolverines team that, in their losses, the consistency or low field goal percentage and lots of turnovers. Sometimes you just don't make shots, and that's how it's going to go. But protecting the basketball better is something that this team can work on going forward to establish more consistency, particularly in the win-loss column and against better teams in environments like this.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit more of a shutting down in these last 20 minutes, or in these last 7 minutes of the game, in order to really keep Toledo from absolutely wiping the floor with them. They are now a 24-point lead, which I don't think the Michigan's expected coming into this game.
To that point, Michigan, for those who bet, Michigan was a 12.5-point favorite tonight. This is a 36-point flip on that spread. The Wolverines have just gotten outplayed here tonight. Now it's about playing for pride and trying to find some momentum leading into upcoming games. There's some big games on the schedule for the Wolverines, and Big Ten play comes around pretty soon here. And the Wolverines have always seemed to be just that tier below the top. The Ohio States, the Indianas, Iowa, obviously with Caitlin Clark. See if Michigan can find some momentum here.
Yeah, their last game before they head off December 10th to Champaign, Illinois to play at Illinois. So This game is a little bit of a downer for Michigan, but we continue now on with Toledo at the top of their offense with 7 minutes left on the shot clock. It seems as if Nasr set a pick at the top of the key, but that was a foul on number 30, her fourth. So now we have 2 players on this team that have 4 fouls. We have Nasr and Navrosky, who have 4 fouls, having to be pulled out of the game. We have Michigan's offense now swinging the ball around, making some beautiful cuts in and out. With Lauren Hansen back on top, driving to the basket. She cuts through 3 defenders, goes up, and she is unable to make the shot fall. However, Michigan is in the bonus, and she's shooting 1 for 1.
Certainly it was a good attack there from Hansen, but Garcia came over for Toledo and made that shot tough. I didn't see much of a foul there, to be honest, but again, another instance of challenging at the rim for Toledo and making Michigan's life tough inside that 5-foot area around the basket.
Lauren Hansen now with the shot. She shoots her first. She's able to make it. Toledo's crowd trying to counteract her focus as she goes up for the second one. She misses the second one. Shots recovered by Toledo. Lauren Hansen tries to get into the ball. Pass to Lockett, number 5 at the top of the key. Garcia is slow with the ball, looking for a pass on the outside. Hands it off to Lockett under the basket as she brings it around and under the basket, tries to pass it back out to number 2, but it is stopped by Layla Filia, causing a personal foul under the basket, which honestly, in my opinion, didn't look like a personal foul. It just looked like her hands got in the way of a pass. But
no, and I wouldn't be surprised if Coach Kim Barnes-Arico is going to get a tech at some point here.
No, I totally agree.
In this game, given the way the whistle has gone against the Wolverines. That was, again, a soft call on the baseline for a game that's got so much energy.
Yeah, exactly. We saw Toledo lose the ball in the inbounds in the last play, giving the ball over back to Michigan. Lauren Hansen at the top of the key. Number 20, Crockett, with a fake handoff, passes it back to Hansen. She goes up for the shot, and she is fouled under the basket once again. With Michigan in a bonus, she has the attempt of 2 shots right now, which I think is much needed considering Michigan is continuously still down by 20 points with 5 minutes and 25 seconds left in this game.
Michigan doesn't seem to like to rely on the 3-point shot, which is rare in basketball these days. I wonder if that's something they might have to reconsider at some point this season.
Yeah. We see heavy press now from Michigan's defense as Garcia takes a shot from the corner and it falls. A beautiful shot from the corner by Garcia, putting the score to 67-43 now. Just continually closing this gap. We saw Filia try to counteract that score by shooting from a 3, not making it. Recovered by number 2, Wired. Passed over to Garcia, so she takes a shot from the corner and it doesn't seem to fall, and it's tipped out of bounds. That was a very, very quick turnaround for both teams. Filia came down, tried to shoot that jumper to answer the 3-pointer that Garcia shot at the corner, but was unable to make it. And now we see Michigan back on offense, struggling to get some points on the board. Crockett goes under the basket for the layup, tries to use the drive, and she is countered by Garcia. Whistle not blowing for her in her direction, so a little bit of difficulty there for Crockett. Or excuse me, Brett. Number 5, Lockett goes in for the shot. She's unable to make it. Brett takes it down the court over to Crockett. She tries to drive, Faced off by Garcia. She tries to swing around, use an up and under move, and it once again does not fall for our Michigan Wolverines.
Again, Garcia making it tough for Crockett there in that instance. Had to use an up and under move and a little too strong off the backboard.
Got 4 minutes left in this game, and Toledo is using everything in their power, all their energy, all their strength, their momentum to continue putting Michigan into this hole. Garcia goes up for the shot with the shot clock at 2 minutes left, is met by Brett and is unable to make it fall. Hansen with the quick movement up to Hobbs at the top of the key for the three-point shot. It does not go in, and the ball is once again recovered by Toledo.
Michigan with no field goals in the last 5 minutes and 10 seconds of this basketball game. Shows you how well Toledo's been defending and how anemic Michigan's offense has been tonight.
It seems as if Michigan's offense is kind of getting desperate and using no more than 15 seconds at the bottom of their, or further off their shot clock in order to make something work. Michigan comes down the court. Hobbs tries to go in for the basket. All these layups that they're shooting are just not going in. Brett tries to fight under the basket against Wired as she takes it back up the court, met by Hansen, who's getting handsy at the top of the three-point line. Pass back up to number 22 for Toledo. She goes up for the shot. She is met by Crockett, who is now being called for a personal foul. Man, Michigan is just getting absolutely beat up under the basket out here. They've had a very, very, very difficult time getting around these women regardless of the whistle being called or not. You know, Toledo is using that to their advantage. But with that being said, their two, Navrosky and Garcia, both have 4 fouls. So fouls are being called, but not to the extent that Michigan can hope. We now see Goss at the free throw line shooting her second attempt. Going in, putting the score to 69-43. With 2 minutes and 30 seconds left in this game. Layla Filia takes it at the right outside the free throw line, or excuse me, the three-point line. Number 2, Brown, takes it. Passes it up to Hobbs, who tries to penetrate, doesn't find anything. Over to Crockett for the shot. Once again, the three-point shot does not go in. Recovered by number 2, Wired, who's gotten about 6 rebounds in this quarter alone. A little pass and cut movement by Toledo's offense. Navrosky setting the pick. Doesn't find anything. Down to Navrosky to be faced by Crockett, who knocks the ball out of her hands and gets it back to Brown, who passes it to number 21, Woodson. Swings it around up to Layla Filia in the corner for the shot to fall. A lot of effort put in by Michigan for that three-pointer for Layla Filia.
Yeah, at long last, the 3 goes down for the Wolverines. Little corner pop for Filia, but would have liked to see a lot more of that earlier in the game, getting down low and then kicking to the corner and making Toledo pay.
Yeah, we saw a little bit of movement by Toledo's offense as Lockett tried to pass it down low to a defender, or to a player that wasn't necessarily there. It was tipped by number 20, Crockett, on Michigan.
Toledo's offense has certainly slowed down here in the fourth quarter, but they're still playing with an excellent patience and a purpose with what they're trying to do. There's an emphasis on getting the ball down low, whether that's in Navrosky or Cook, who's been in there earlier, or Garcia as well, kind of rolling on these down screens from guards, coming up from the baseline to set the screen for the big at the elbow to roll. It's gotten them some easy looks and easy layups, but it's also caused some tension on that Michigan defense. Do they switch? Do they help? And when they have helped, the guard pops up to the wing. Michigan's got to rotate quickly. And then Toledo King has done an excellent job of getting into their drive and kick game and has knocked down some three-point shots tonight. 9 of 20 from the three-point line, 24 of 51 from the field. So clearly this patience and I think more importantly the purpose of this Toledo offense has really been found today, and they got in a rhythm early, and that certainly helps and gives the players confidence and the coach confidence to keep running some of the same sets again and again.
We've only got a minute and 9 seconds left in this entire competition as both courts kind of return back to their positions. Toledo with a lot of energy, a lot of excitement for having this winning score. Ophelia at the top, pass it over to Hobbs, over to number 21, Woodson. Back up to 2, Brown. Swung around Ophelia to Hobbs for the shot. It once again does not fall for Michigan. A lot of swing movement there for a shot that didn't go in. As the crowd begins to stand and cheer for their Toledo Rockets. Number 30 tries to drive in, doesn't find anything. Pop back out to Distra. She's looking for a pass up at the top of the key for the shot on the three-point line to answer the shot clock in its final moments. It's recovered by Garcia, and the ball is held for the last 10 seconds of this ball game, putting Michigan behind Toledo today for a score of 69-46. Toledo here in Jeff Savage Stadium. What a game.
Certainly was, if you're a Rockets fan. They'll move to 4-2 on the season and one of their better performances of the year. But excellent performance from Lockett. She had 20 points tonight. Really, you could see the contrast in the way in her offensive style compared to the opposing Michigan star player, Layla Felia's style. They were matched up against each other a lot tonight. Thought Lockett showed a lot more patience, a lot better footwork, some nice maneuvering of the pump fake as well. Kind of get to her spots and got comfortable early in this game. She was a big part of that 14-0 Toledo run in that second quarter. And Felia got it going a bit in the third, but took a little while for Michigan to drop back from attacking the basket as aggressively as they were and get to some softer spots in that Toledo defense. And at that point, Toledo had already established a 19-20 point edge, and they were able to maintain it the rest of the night.
Yeah, Toledo was able to keep a nice rotation in there against this exciting game and this separation between Michigan and Ohio, the general rivalry. So we saw Layla Felia coming in, stepping up in the second quarter, or in the second half with 16 points, where she actually started the second half with only 3 points. So it was exciting to see the way these teams stepped up. Brett didn't do as much as we expected from her in the second half. She only had 1 point from a free throw, when in the first half she had 6 points. So a little bit of push and pull there from her, but she played wonderful defense out here, kind of stepping into that leadership while Layla Felia was getting her footing. It was a very, very exciting game, and we've had such the pleasure of calling this game today here in Jeff Savage Stadium in Toledo, Ohio. We really appreciate you on the call, for all of those listening, for all those supporting us here today, and we hope you have a wonderful night. And as always, go blue.